International Marine Club, where all 4 stages start, and all the way up to Fujairah, 179 kilometres. The highest point in today's stage is 178 metres above sea level. It's as flat as a pancake. Well, we go through 4 different Emirates, and after the riders signed in, got onto the start line, they were on their way through Sharjah, Ras Al Khaimah, and the final expected sprint finish away from Dubai and in the Emirate of Fujairah on the coast of the Indian Ocean. Team Sky have turned up for this one of 10 World Tour teams here. 16 teams in total, a lot of British representation, with 1 pro cycling and a Wiggins riding as well. To fight for the victory, and the Circle of Stars trophy is what all of these riders are aiming for. First it was Taylor Phinney, then Mark Cavendish. We've had a change of teams, and it looks as though we're going to get the first Cavendish versus Kittel, episode 1 of the season. There's a few Italian big-name sprinters to add into that as well, and you saw Matt Goss too. It all promises to be a very exciting 4 days of racing. What are we expecting? Well, 3 probable sprint stages. Brad Wiggins to do some riding as well, although he's told all the waiting press not to expect too much of him. And 1 hilly stage, that big 17% finish up to the Hatter Dam, won by John Degenkolb, who, for reasons which we'll tell you about a little, points and, of course, bonus seconds. And with 3 expected sprint stages, bonus seconds could well be the general classification. So a good start for Skydive Dubai. There were then 2 extra passengers to carry on to the break. 157 from the brand new Al Nasser Pro Cycling Team Dubai. That was Jesus Rubio, and Charles Planet was there for Team Novo Nordisk. 44.6 kilometres to go, 3 minutes and 45 for a 6-man break on stage 1 of Dubai Tour 2016. And a very warm welcome to a brand new season on the home of cycling. Remember, hashtag home of cycling for all of your views throughout the season here on Eurosport. He was victorious to have in the United Arab Emirates, pardon me, already in 2015 last year. He won the Sharjah Tour, which he headed through before. And after the musical interlude, not sure where that came from, we have Daniel Tekla-Hyman at the front.
Yeah, we now see 2 more teams, not only Team Sky, but Astana now committing riders towards the front. So we are going to see a showdown of these sprinters, the 6 riders in the front all committing themselves. They had a healthy advantage, but because of the added impetus to the front of the peloton with the other teams, it's been controlled by mentioned data and ethics today for the majority of the stage. But now Team Sky thinking of Viviani, Astana thinking of... In the past, there's been, critical comments afterwards about, Gardini and not committing riders to chases and things like that in past stage events when he's actually won the stage. So now that they're showing respect, putting a rider up towards the front, or 2 riders up towards the front and helping Gardini. We saw his pre-race interview. He's not raced this year yet, but he's motivated, on decent enough form, and he's sent a couple of his guys up towards the front.
Well, he says he's ready, he says he's in good condition, and he's targeting at least 1 win here this week. He's got the team around him to do it. He said the team is strong and I can count on the help of my teammates in the sprints. Andrea Guardini, 40-odd wins now to his palmarès. The man who's going to lead him out is Ruslan Tlubayev of Kazakhstan. He's the designated rider to assist Guardini in the final kilometre in the sprint. For any reason Guardini can't sprint, we're told that Tlubayev is the man that's going to get a go, but we've got some strong riders for them. Laurens de Vreese, Lars Bohm, classic specialist. The new signing, Gatis Smukalis, is there as well. This is the breakaway. Still 6 men up there. Vliegen on the right-hand side, as we said, had heart surgery in October to correct that congenital heart defect. There's Soler, the man we talked about from Spain. Adi is the Moroccan champion. The man in the light blue on the right-hand side, Rubio, another Spaniard riding for the team from the UAE. He's one of 7 Spanish riders on the road in Dubai. Previously been a stagiaire with the Andalusia team. He was actually the amateur national champion in the time trial last year. He was 13th amongst the pros. Amateur champion in the time trial, Jesus Alberto Rubio. Less than 1.5 minutes then, the gap now. All 4 stages starting from the same part, and I guess this is if you're in one of the teams that doesn't get to ride a long the last, what, 15, 20 kilometres.
It is, but, you know, they're in the race, and Hadi, as you say, a multiple champion, Moroccan champion, time trial and road race, is in the break, and, you know, that's what they came here to do. When you look at the Tour Down Under, the local Australians, it was a kind of whitewash with stages and everything down there, so they are super motivated to ride an event like this in their home territory. It's the same with this. It's 6.6 kilometres twice, so as we go over the line for the first time, we do 6.6 kilometres, which is just pretty much straight up, roundabout, down the other side, and back round the roundabout again, nice and flat.
We're talking about motivation. If you look down at this new Al Nasser team, there's a lot of motivation for one particular rider. It's the national champion of UAE. It's Youssef Mohamed Mirza. We saw him hanging on the back of the peloton not so long ago. He wants to go to the Olympic Games this year. He says that racing with the champions for the Olympics, and if I happen to ride them after getting a qualifying spot for the UAE in Rio. So best of luck for him, and I hope he can learn as much as he's hoping to learn this week. And hanging around at the back, he might have some stellar company, the likes of Brad Wiggins, who said, well, don't expect to see me near the front, and if he gets chatting, he might pick up a tip or two. You never know. Yeah,
they're in esteemed company here in the Dubai Tour, third edition of this event, and, you know, nice to see that the sprinter teams of Dimension Data for Cavendish, Kittel, Ethics, Gardini for Astana, Viviani with Team Sky, committing riders towards the front. A couple other sprinters, Nizzolo of Trek-Segafredo Racing not getting involved. Lampre in the kind of fuchsia pink not getting involved either. So does that say anything? Well, it's the first stage, nobody really knows. But if Modolo or Nizzolo wins the stage, then, you know, talking in the peloton tomorrow. But there's certainly 4 teams up for the job today, and you can also see that don't discount Wiggins' team, because they have got Owen Doyle. Owen Doyle's a very good sprinter as well, and also won Pro Cycling, another British team. I've got a few sprinters. Matt Goss, we'll have to wait and see, but there are other sprinters in that team as well that will certainly be up for you know, having a crack. Chris Opie is one of them. You know, Sebastian Lander can sprint a bit, so we just have to wait and see who is the best of the sprinters. Marcel Biablocki as well, the Polish rider, can go strong in sprint, so we'll have to wait and see. Sprinting and some of the smaller races is totally different when you're up against some of the big teams like Ethics, and now obviously Dimension Data, Astana, so it's going to be very difficult for them.
Yeah, Bialbotsky, of course, is a staple here in the last few years. Now the first attacks from the breakaway, and it tries to follow. Vligen's on his wheel. It's a big effort at the back for Rubio. So you know, the most experienced rider in here is Martin Mortensen of One Pro. He had a stint with Leopard Trek, you know, a few years with Vacon Soleil. So that's the rider third from the back, just in front of the Movistar rider. So he is the most experienced at 31. The others are 25 and below. So this gap is coming down very quickly now. That's because 4 teams are riding at the front of the peloton. And with the intermediate sprint coming up as well, I'm thinking at least Soufiane Adi, who took the first 3 seconds from the first intermediate sprint, he could put himself in a very, very good position in the general classification. 13.5 kilometres remain on stage 1 of the 2016 Dubai Tour. Attacks already from the 6-man breakaway that had a maximum advantage of around 4.5 minutes. It's down to just 42 seconds now. The peloton behind is reaching them very, very strongly. We see a nice display of the various jerseys. Of course, we're going for the blue leaders jersey here. The red jersey is the points jersey. Intermediate sprints jersey and a youth jersey on show as well. Astana are coming to the front and trying to do their bit for Andrea Guardini, their sprinter. We've seen Ethics QuickStep and Dimension Data sharing out most of the work during the day. Movistar will want to get involved for Juanjo Lobato as well. We mentioned Modolo of Lampre. They're hidden behind those Ethics QuickStep jerseys in the pink. We get a first sighting of Mark Cavendish for a while as well. He's very, very close to Marcel Kittel with a different sprinter. It's a really, really interesting equation this year for Mark Cavendish and Dimension Data.
The thing is, everybody still gets on outside of all the kind of press quotes and all these type of things when people are, you know, quoted for the press, and it's not really, you know, it's out of context, all these sort of things. They're still all friends. They all keep in contact with each other. But in the racing, it's, you know, it's business as normal. And, you know, for Kittel, he has to deliver a win today. I know Patrick Lefevre here will want that from Ethics. You know, it's kind of first bloods. You know, he'll say that you know, you have to beat Cavendish today. Likewise, Cavendish will be given the orders. You won it last year. You have to come back and, you know, show what you can do. And that's why you've got the riders of Dimension Data riding on the front. Nice to see Matt Brammy here, the Irishman, riding for Team Dimension Data. It was a long time ago he had that bad crash in Utah, but he's back here helping out his friend, and that's Mark Cavendish.
What I want to know is, has he drunk all that beer that he won last year yet?
I think he was giving a lot of it away to Stirley's staff, but this breakaway of these 6 riders, Flanagan, Solar, Mortensen, Harry, Planet and Rubio, were all looking good. They had a healthy advantage, but in the last few kilometres, it's more of a track race now. They're watching each other and they're just fighting for this last sprint point.
Well, if they're not careful, they're going to miss out on the sprint points, because the gap under 20 seconds, you can see the cars being pushed out of the way rapidly, because they know with all the cat and mouse that's going on, there's a real danger that we could have a mess with cars, motorbikes and a chasing peloton that you can see. Now, just a few hundred metres away from the final intermediate sprint of the day. Looks as though the peloton will probably let them have it. Here we go on the right-hand side with Hadi in the red. He got the first one, and the 3 bonus seconds that went with it as well. Just behind him, chasing are the 2 Spaniards, Rubio and Soler. Not particularly known as sprinters. It looks like Hadi's going to hold on. Hadi is there for the minute, going for the line, and he will take another 3 seconds. So 6 bonus seconds for him. And at the end of the day, the intermediate sprints jersey, a very, very good day for the Moroccan champion. In the meantime, crossing the line, Laurens de Vries and Lieve Westra of Astana. 2 laps to go. Now, the breakaway's done. It's all about the sprint, Brian.
And so it's going to be interesting. It's flat. There's just over 10 kilometres to go, but this is the replay of the sprint, and it was a long sprint by Hadi, but he wanted it. Like I'm saying, that's the motivation there, and he'll go into the stage tomorrow with that sprints leaders jersey.
Intermediate sprints jersey for him. The peloton has taken the breakaway. Astana, Dimension Data chasing behind. Jesus Rubio, I don't think he's going to hang on any longer. Just a pride thing for the man who's riding for the first time with a professional sort of contract. He's running at continental level, but he's being paid by the Dubai team to ride for them. Now, this circuit's basically an out-and-back circuit. We've got a little bit of wind blowing across from the sea, I think it was.
Like it, you know, we get inside the last 5 kilometres, but at least it gives the riders the opportunity of looking after Gardini. So it's obviously he's feeling good, and nice to see Laurens de Vries, the rider on the front. So 2 strong riders, de Vries and Louis Westra, riding for Astana.
It's QuickStep with Marcel Kittel. Dimension Data with Mark Cavendish, the defending champion. Cavendish won here in Ethics colours last year. He won the first and the final stages. He's got the front here. He's going to be hoping, for their own sakes, that the work is shared out between the teams. Ethics and Bowley. Less than 10 Ks to go. Of course, mentioning Dimension Data, Africa's team now a World Tour team as well, which is a brilliant step for them going up to the World Tour. Cavendish began his road season in Australia at the weekend at the Cadel Evans Ocean Race. He hasn't done much endurance riding over the winter. He's been busy on the track. Brian, I think the aim of the game of him being down under was just to get some ride in, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the case. He came in, you know, too late to do the Tour Down Under, but I think that would have been too big a step coming from the track.
It was in Hong Kong, wasn't he?
And then straight over there and straight into the Tour Down Under. It's too much. So he done a 2-week block. But you can just see in the middle of the picture also the team of Wiggins with 5 riders towards there, and they've got Owen Doyle, who showed really well, remember, in the Tour of Britain last year. So Bradley Wiggins doing what he does best and riding towards the front and protecting the young rider in that team.
Anyone else, I'm hoping not to achieve anything this week. Dubai he'll be doing this year, and he's hoping to set something up. Have 2 fastish men towards the front, Benati and Kolar. That's Manuele Boaro towards the back, who was busy posing on the front page of the Italian press today with Diego Maradona, after sharing that jersey photo with him, the half-famous Napoli jersey and half-yellow colours of Tinkoff. Good publicity stunt from the Russian team. But of course, they can't race with that on. Now, this is the part of road that they've already seen on the way in. So they've seen the circuit now, they know what...
In the road book, it's about 2 kilometres from that turn to the finishing line, but at least the riders have seen that. And but it's still the team Wiggins with 5 riders towards the front. They've sat at the back all day. Now they're at the front at the best possible time.
Just under 7 kilometres to go on the first day of stage racing on Eurosport this season. Dubai Tour Stage 1. Wiggins at the front, riding this race for the first time. 4 road races for Brad Wiggins this year. Owain Doull maybe today, we'll have a look. He was very, very good in the Tour of Britain last year. This is the 1 kilometre to go mark. It is pan flat and very, very straight coming into the finish. Nice and wide the road as well. 115 there at the back for Sky's Gianni Moscon. On the left-hand side, Trek-Segafredo. They have Fabian Cancellara, but today they're hoping to do something for Giacomo Nizzolo. Disappointing down at the Tour Down Under. Nizzolo, who was up there, but had maybe 1 top 10 place, I think, in the whole week out of probably 3 sprint days.
The thing is, it's all about goals. If you're flying at this point of the year, then how are you going to be in so it's, you know, where you're at. And, you know, most sprinters can sprint well at this time of year, but are they totally on 100% form? I don't think most of them are. You can just see when pro cycling starting to get organised. I saw Matt Gossett right up there towards the front. Chris Opie is there as well. So they get the bell, 5.6 kilometres to go to the finish now.
1 lap to go, and a sprint is going to decide this opening stage of the Dubai Tour. Wiggins at the front in their dark blue and red jerseys, just behind Dimension Data, Movistar, Ethics, QuickStep. Movistar, we haven't talked too much about them. What about Juan Holobato? He was excellent last year on that stage up to the Hatterdam. He came 3rd. He was up there, didn't quite get up enough to get enough bonus seconds to take the overall title off Mark Cavendish. But if he has a good start here, if a couple of the other big sprinters like Cavendish and Kittel are just trying to blow the cobwebs off, Lobato surprise a few people, he could end up winning the GC.
Well, he knows he can ride well up the dam. If he can pick up some bonus seconds, then who knows?
Off to Twitter. And a steely-eyed look this morning between Mark Cavendish and Marcel Kittel. Playing up to the cameras, maybe. Interesting. Thanks to cyclingpro.net for that. And we're about to see the first duel. Will it be them, or is it going to be... Of course, no disrespect, certainly to the 4 big Italian names that we've got here, as well as the Spaniard Lobato. This is not a nailed-on solution, and certainly at this time of the year when everybody... been good on the track, but is the endurance there? That is the question. We'll be looking today for Cavendish, by the way, in the white jersey with the black sleeves. Wiggins and Owain Doull, maybe, they're in those dark blue jerseys. And here goes Philippe Gilbert trying to spoil the party for the sprinters.
No real surprise. He's just kind of testing his legs out, and he's got about 20 metres, but I tell you what, it's an impressive effort by the Team Pursuit boys from Team Wiggins on the front. They have been on the front for the last 3 or 4 kilometres. Philippe Gilbert, the ex-world champion, riding just slightly.
Tony Martin in the chase behind the big German, riding for his German sprinter now, Marcel Kittel. Bit of change up at the front as the riders move to the right-hand side. Astana make their way to the front in the light blue. Will be in the white jersey with black sleeves. Marcel Kittel now in the royal blue and black.
The thing is, Ethics on the left-hand side, they've got 6 riders. Sky are right next to them. Gardini is deciding to go on the wheel of Mark Cavendish. So it's on the left-hand side, you can see the 3 riders. It's Ben Swift, Andy Fenn and Viviani. Behind Viviani in the yellow, you can see Benatti, but in the middle, you can still see the 5 riders in front of Marcel Kittel. As we see Bernie Eisel coming up, battling to get a good position into this top bend with Mark Renshaw and Mark Cavendish.
Yeah, Tinkov are bringing up Michael Kolar here, the Slovakian on the right-hand side, wearing 136. Benatti towards the front, as we can see Bernie Eisel there on the right-hand side.
Look at the rider absolutely committing.
Dimension data. It's just Mark Renshaw and Mark Cavendish with 2.2 kilometres to go around this roundabout, and after that it is the run-in to the finish. So we were told the finish straight was 2.8 kilometers. The roadbook slightly off, and maybe with the roadworks and the immense building that goes around it, very well protected as well. Team Sky there with Andy Fenn at the back and out of the
helping Nizzolo, but just as we say that, we can see the blue train of Kittel coming, and there's a mad rush and push and shove to get on the wheel of Marcel Kittel now.
Giant Albacete. Nizzolo trying to spoil the party with Cavendish and Kittel going up against each other as well. Cavendish is there. The man just in front of him is Mark Renshaw. On the right-hand side, you've got three men left and ready for Marcel Kittel. It looks as though Nizzolo's going to be brilliantly positioned. And at Sky with Elia Viviani as well. 77 riding for One Pro Cycling. He's Chris Opie who's going to give it a go. And here we go then. Through the centre, it's Ethics QuickStep. Kittel about to launch his sprint. On his wheel is Viviani. Kittel going through the middle. All the big power from the big German. Cavendish on the left-hand side. Hasn't hit the front yet. It's Kittel who's got a very good march on everybody at the minute. Kittel going for the line, and it's win number one for Marcel Kittel on debut in Ethics QuickStep colours. Kittel never really had any competition. Well, what a win. And
Kittel went with about 250 metres to go, right from the front. Everybody else was grappling for his wheel. You can just see Nizzolo in the pink in the left-hand side, but Mark Cavendish, you can just see him gritting his teeth, trying to hang on to the back wheel of Kittel. Takes second, I think Nizzolo might have taken the third there, one of the One Pro Cycling.
The wind in the end has been a really, really important one for Ethics QuickStep. They'll be happy, and that'll just take all of the nerves out of everything for the rest of the week. You can see here Brian Kittel in the blue hitting the front, and everybody was playing catch-up.
Yeah, they were. You can see them. Nizzolo, Cavendish, Nizzolo, Gardini, all of them were playing catch-up there. Cav came up fairly quickly towards the end, but this is what it all is about. Just look in the right-hand side there. Cavendish is just getting squeezed out. Gardini and Viviani right in front of him, but this was a lead out now. It looks like it's Trentine leading out now. Perfect place. Cavendish is, 3 lengths already behind him, but when Kittel goes, Cavendish comes from, as I said, 3 or 4 bike lengths behind. He's coming at him, but it's left it far too late. Probably poor positioning from Mark Cavendish, but he comes at him late and beats him by about a bike.
Win for Marcel Kittel on that overhead shot, with Cavendish in second, Nizzolo third, Modolo Palini for Skydive Dubai. He's had excellent form in the African races, in the Tropicala Missa Bongo in particular. Guardini in sixth, with Opie for One Pro Cycling in seventh. A good result for them, beating Viviani, Kolar and Thomas Vikas riding for Al Nasser Pro Cycling.